Watje, voorzoende demek, kjøtne kajaik, Wally McKay dishin kaze, gotesne be, we that make masculine Dr. Lloyd Douglas. Good day, everyone. My name is Wally McKay, and I am going to be, I'm visiting with Dr. Lloyd Douglas. The discussion today is to provide greater understanding for people who have, for one reason or another, are refusing to get vaccinated. Kegunen kouten aan de wintermatch and the week in the wintermatch stay and watch. These individuals may have some conspiracy theories, or I've heard some conspiracy theories. Others may have had certain religious or Christian beliefs, and others may feel invincible. Therefore, they do not believe they need the vaccine. Dus aan de ega koud in het wintermatch die steken wat dat schools miswe in nachtmonen. Ik ten in de match. Ik kom in lande ik in de match miswe in nachtmonen. Mina aan de week kouden is ne de match en dat wordt de moon MCU en dat wordt de moon oche. Ik go aan de week. Ik begon channel in de match in de match. Ik ga soms wat je afgezet. Ego dus kan net in de zien te digital goejak. Nog ga ik Dr. Douglas. Dr. Douglas, thank you for joining us today. I want to ask you a question. Can you explain the present state of COVID-19 virus, especially the Delta variant, and its potential implications if someone gets infected? Although some people may have been vaccinated, and also for people not vaccinated. You guys go gwens make all masculine. Kiabits also make it a gwens terma COVID-19 in apneuen. Ma was the shiwe oski in apneuen and quapaneuen Delta variant kashin katik. Egomina kishpin oya kachidin gwetjen in apneuen there. And no doing go as a machine oya kitisto woman. Egomina and case sewa again egama sigatisto.
So thank you so much, Wally, for that question. So the present state of COVID-19 virus in our region, this time we have 0 cases in the Sulikot area, and we have very low cases in the Thunder Bay District Health Unit, very low cases in the Northwestern Health Unit, and right across the province, the cases are pretty low at this time.
COVID-19 in apneu and Quabadaman make out to 1 hour. That's good. Egawi make out a catch it in apneu. Thunder Bay, Egomino, Begumazway, Ontario. We can get with the passe or we got in apneu.
Miigwech. So with regards to the Delta variant is now the dominant variant in our province. And the Delta variant is impacting especially those who are unvaccinated at this time.
Delta variant, and COVID-19, and when Mao's guys are sick with megots. So
when we look globally across the world, we can see that cases are rising in places like the United States, and it's due to the Delta variant, mainly among the unvaccinated. And not only are cases rising, we see an increase in the number of hospitalizations as well.
Ik had dus kwabedam en damschoot mezelf kan ik oma akika. Am het damschoot kape nak zeggen o ja gatsen kwat am uskan kwapeneun. Kwabedam en kijk smoch man akika mi bes kon nee sek. Ik had dus igen ma het gatsen kwat when in afternoon am gonok ik ga masgati stota.
So the message is, even though you may be vaccinated, because of the Delta variant, you should continue to follow all of the other public health advice, recommendations, and restrictions. For example,
even go as a gate still go, I mean to say cabbage easy, ik het na nog te mensen gaat ik, am hier dat coach miniaal onach te gaan.
That means you should continue to wear your mask. You see me putting my mask on. Even if you're fully vaccinated, continue to wash your hands, continue to social distance, especially as you travel from the community and you go to the cities.
Ego das amigen und das gut zu nachgehen kagi kagi und nachgehen das gut ka miago ka gut und etwas nano mina national gasin ginano ego mina ego ja best nachga postorgan und ego mina achi agom ginano kishpen au imajach.
Thank you, Wally. So I guess we can move on to the other part of that question.
Yes, doctor, how vulnerable are for elders and especially persons who have chronic illnesses from Delta variant? Mitsishko gwechima kama maskuene ane naftijin chinagos watch am gono chihag chgachin watchene inafneone igeno the smawad staff coach achgezone megwatch kapim dakune watch.
Thank you, Wally. So we know that the Delta variant is more transmissible, and we also know that the consequences are more severe with the Delta variant. So for elders who may not have strong immune systems and they are unvaccinated, they would be at greater risk.
Delta variant Egomina, that's good. Awia ekachid negotiate in apnea, napit exogane bakteskago exinapenet. Amitas one of Chihak, that's good, and it's nagzat.
And for those with chronic illnesses, if you have a chronic illness and you're unvaccinated, your immune system may be weakened as well. And again, the Delta variant being more transmissible with more severe consequences, you too may be at greater risk.
That's good Delta variant and Quapnun guys in Kantik. Gispen Akusun Epime Nochigan Nashne Etanapanean. We gave a good Damskootske Animihiguan Mina Chisogana Apanean Kishm Gatchin you're in Apanean.
What we also find, Wally, is that the Delta variant is impacting even healthy individuals, younger individuals, including children. And we know that our children under 11 are not yet vaccinated. So again, I encourage everyone, if you're eligible, go get your vaccine.
Ego the scare, ano dono get the stoven, ego get emini and a more gishman gatchin again, Oske and Quapno and Delta variant, gay on Washak, assets. SCG guards winning afternoon. Ego the smile just said that the Kakano to go get this to
So, Wally, I guess I have some questions for you now.
Yeah.
All right. So, Wally, we are seeing high numbers of people who are not accepting the vaccine in many of our communities. To date, I think of all those who are eligible across the region, we have 61%. That's the number that we're at. So there are quite a number who have not received the vaccine. So here's my question. You are very familiar with and have a close pulse with the First Nations communities. Who do you see comprise, the high numbers of people who are not vaccinated?
Wat is ik dan scoort een beetje op de mak. Dan scoort je just tegen kijk je doet je gaat ik andersen oude gas just hogen wat. Ik got the 61% at the just hog. I got machine organ ik am ze gaat just hogen wat. Met ze in shit. Kinderman is kunnen gaan zeggen wat ik kan. Aan is wat de man aan en ik am ze gaat just houden. First of all, Dr. Douglas, First Nations have a right to be suspicious about vaccinations with new vaccines. Ik got de semena, ik stem te gekend en sinuak was dubbly said, Chinanaga when the watch gone egomina, Kanaga ni know it with him and stem gistowag, you had gistagan muske. The first concern was the rapid development of vaccines, an announcement that First Nations and elderly vulnerable persons would get vaccinated first. Cause suspicion. Are we being used as test cases? Are we being used as test picks? These are widely spread on Facebook. I mean, the saying, I'm here, Gagi, Nanaga, and Shin, that's good. we but naptik usgadegen gistegen maske. Egomina, when stemme which gadig, and shinwok egomina kchihak. Mine geno kam na no sama pnewach. Amigano can stem getish to hagen watch, amid the suma gagiuche, nanaga to end the march and shinwok, who go that debwe. Ami ejiko gwech came watch, ke abas chigadena ekogwech chigadegio maske. Nanda mina, that's good na piskwaga gwechi I mean etu dagwak. Amid the sugonen, machine gagi in Ajmonen, and now can email Facebook. Secondly, each person has a choice. People can decide whether to accept the vaccine or not. Our responsibility is to fully inform of what vaccines are all about, what these vaccines do, and potential consequences if not vaccinated. All we can do is provide whatever information is available for each person to make an informed decision. Ego the sneezing gegon, kauche an ega na doenda martin snog to distodo. Kendamak, kakina oyetano etona moch, chick kendak chudapnek nandagetiano endak. Ego the snina, keynote a magic and opmugiak, that's good to the bathroom toy, the bathroom toy, and shinwag, and a sick a moiti stegen maske. Ego mina ane inan kimagaken ugonon chistegen maskin mina gispin ega udafana muach chistegen maskin ane ki nefnan ke siwach kachidin gwajwini nafneun. I mean chabuga se chimch the bathroom to dog akno ye guys ba page gwaj chigun in the muach andine ke do ejudafna muach. Thirdly, we have certain groups or people in our communities that feel invincible. They came through the SARS pandemic, they came through the various influenza, and they never gotten the flu. They never received any flu shots, therefore they feel no need to be vaccinated. Ego the shigan and the sin kweke uchigegon. And the week, awak and shinwak, in the skunaganang, kain the mod, kwanin yuen gainafnesi. As a SARS gagik nanok and stamina pneum gagib dokstumagakban. Mina tafskots gummi afpneuen gaan to the koud af en maat stegen maske. Ik got me in the maat kan soort nin gai acus sin you amici kan dat we zin. Lastly, we have our churches and adherents to the churches. This includes various evangelical faith church adherents. Ego the Shishkoyats. Aog no ka bitigiots, mine ka which ka pochtamots, ubitigionwa. Amita suano ke assets, that's good. Evangelical kajem chigiots, igenok haone.
Thank you, Wally. Can you tell us more about the church people or people of Christian persuasion and reasons why they do not want to get vaccinated?
Ego the syndicate gwechmek, mate cabbage animal the mosnam, amigan one coach and shinok, kam hawats, kam chigiots, ego the skigunin egos net when the watch, just take and watch. Doctor, I know of one indigenous priest that has advocated against taking the vaccine. When the church leader speaks against certain matters, there are people who follow his stand. Ego dus nikinma basic and senior hugma in apejiki akugabo stak egao yajistaganos. A P un chigil unigani tamage gegun in agaskak eaok segenok ka wichigabo twat ega to the mwats kain gwat o dem hugmama. Then there are people of evangelical faith and people of other faiths who have heard through Facebook and other forms of media speaking against the vaccine. Many of these people believe that they're taking the vaccines moving towards the end days, as written in the Bible, dealing with the days of Antichrist and the number 666. The pandemic, the plagues, the unnatural storms and floods are signs of end times. Therefore, the believers are concerned that such vaccines have direct connection with the end times, especially on the number 666. Ego the skier, you got them chigek, Asian kendamwatch, de was the moon wow, mina guys know the watch in my Facebook, Egomina Papa Kant about the moon and Oche. One of the machine a mesh de Buetamuat, Mina and the Sutamuat, a more just taken maske, a more dashkuti magio, which got it Mugan, which was an animal, which got it, Antichrist can Mumat Egomina Agatasan 666. Guavatamin, I'm going to inapineonen, Egomisre, Minagaizua, Bakin with the key, that's which got Snan ordered, Minagachi, Mamuskak, Papa Khan. I'm going that's good squad, he's in now. I meet the Suma or that what I'm with the machine that's good. Nanaga doing the much, ain't in the much. I mean, no, my shit sick, as you might sick, oh, we are 666 years. The First Nation church leaders and believers, whether they be Anglican, Roman Catholic, Mennonite, or evangelical charismatic persuasion, have real suspicions about the period we are dealing with end times according to the Bible. Ego gono kansinio meogma kuni gani tamaga gute puestamog. Nandage Anglican Asian God, nandage Pakwashi, nandage Mennonite, egomina Pakan Pekatsun, Chigeo Nok. Ami they were Nanaga in the march, egomina Punigil the Miaje in the march, up in way squad, Kishan, Ewabatam in Naukin.
Thank you, Wally. Can you share some instances where people that adhere to church or Christian faith that have been vaccinated or not vaccinated?
Thank you very much. I got this additional question. Kudagi to Bajum Tosim, Namskujigan of Mho Mark, Egomina, Obitigeg. Anti Neke, Igeno Kagiti Stoda, Egomina, Egageno Gati Stoda, I'm going to go them together. No, I have three examples. Like what the Sin Katabasum Tonwa Kegona. Number one, Northern Ontario First Nation evangelists, well known and respected to India. They got basic Amoe or Sudam Chige, Gagikimwe. Napajek 10 was secured in Ontario on Kija and India. This preacher going to India was told about the many diseases and why he had to take vaccinations. And he took all the vaccinations and he went there and came back and was not infected with any of the diseases. Unfortunately, he's passed on now. Ik had de Samoa basic en ook maar kieuit ne kieuit India ekijat. Ik had dus amigaki in het Canada dansen de disto guien. Ik had schaknegen en kagi zuid de morgen het stegen uit amigen en ekita stegen. Amit de boe India gajat hange gewoon in afternoon of you go got it nog zien wed. That is one example, and the person was from in the Red Lake area, originally from Bearskin. I mean, the Shwede Kyoji, Cham Kiyat, Miskusaiganig, Gomina, Mitchkansaiganig, Kyoji, Cham Hawe. The second example is about from Northern Manitoba First Nation, a very well known preacher. And he was called to, he said he was called to go and to visit Africa. And he was told that he has to get vaccinations. And for some reason, he did not get any of his vaccination. He said, I am called to go there. I believe that God will protect me, that nothing will come against me. Ik had de schmine bezig, ook ik niet Manitoba ik hier net Afrika we had gets not could just tegen mas goed afnen stay in afternoon and with the here. I mean ik dit zou gaan na doen de zien just go they were on some man do to gonna win him shit human. Unfortunately, 2 weeks after he came back, he started getting sick and shortly thereafter died from the viruses that he caught in Africa. I mean, the says you can make tag of Q at the Bachamo, that's good. Where Piki Bitaxicuma, Canada, Mino, the guy started he might have Nation Muganaka, he might have Fenoja, amid something again in Naganaga, if you want to match it. I have the third one is I have a friend, a couple in Winnipeg who have been in a long time ministry. They got this year in sin to Batchamon. They've been away with them. Oma Winnipeg yet as I'm shinyake we egomina we jogging and Hillmount and Qatch. When the pandemic came and the vaccinations came about, I asked him, are you going to get vaccinated? I made the sapi just taken maskikagi tauniga taking gujma. And he sat there and he pondered and he said, I have been praying about it and I have decided not to get vaccinated. I mean, the schema here, but you gujma, and I don't know just go and make ya, but I mean, as in you, I mean, the session and the matson, they got genuine demand just taken muska. I said, why would you not want to get vaccinated? He said, I would be, as a preacher, I would be saying two things. One is that I am preaching that God protects you, that Jesus looks after you and everything like that in your work, and you don't need a vaccination. I mean, the skagi kide Jack Goodman, Kekunin is Wabaman Egana doing the men to just go. Mitskakid, there were times you got and like Semando, Econonim said, mean I got the bench to get him shit. I got the Smina Gispin is what happened a man, just taken Muske, that's good. I know in the man, you were guys, you got more. As vaccinations became available, he called me and said, Wally, I've decided to get vaccinated because I have my grandchildren I'm with. My wife and I will get vaccinated. We have an appointment date that we will go get vaccinated. I mean, the skagis with the most of the Hibagan said, Wally, I mean, isn't there where up in a sick to just go yan? That the can we jamasig no suck, egomina good diagnosis, get the gum shots. I mean, the Nuit Jorgan, egomina in that is still woman. If the skies won't take you a basic bonaga email, and my basan get this over. Lo and behold, between the time I spoke to him to his appointment time, he catches COVID-19 and his wife catches COVID-19. They got this amua is my gagi squad announcement a pair of taken notes. A mepini magagi gats in good journey COVID-19 nafne. I said with Jorgan. He struggled and he was in a hospital. They got this akuzugo mokizunaganom, we got him here. He struggled with that. Finally, he came out of the hospital. His wife was in a different hospital in a different city because of lack of space in the hospitals. His wife had to, was in a coma for about 30 days and slowly coming out. They got the sweet organ. Oh, me, Giacopinewan. It was a basic bism up in Kagi, much Nebehaga no Tamaque, Ega win Tibinweki Bagadan Hamid. Unfortunately, those are the three examples. I'm going to listen with the man, that's coach again, with the Mchigik, Gadistoto, Egomino Demchigik, Ega Gadistoto. Amige Paniguat.
Thanks for sharing those examples. So Wally, are there any incidents where vaccinations or non-vaccinations have become a hindrance in sharing of church beliefs by the church leadership or the church evangelists?
Thank you very much. I tell you what, amazing of William said. Again, Obitika, who work me no go get more no, not Gadisto, Egomina Gadisto. And Kegun, you done, Oji-Cree said, you and done Hunwa. Yes, just recently, a well-recognized indigenous evangelist went to a community to assist in church gatherings. Had their ways. How basic Obama where Kendagos, I mean, Kendagos is Bugande. He's our disconnect and though I aren't be together to that. On his approach to the community, he was stopped at the security gate by the community security person who asked him the purpose of his visit. Having informed the security asked for proof of his vaccinations. Wabadishnam, Ekdebo Magaknajum, Aji Kakna Gistuan Kajistego. Luckily, he said he had a record of his vaccinations and they allowed him to proceed. Amit the stable Ekia and you a beban, Eknadas negadik, Azeki Judge Stogan, Amingibi to get Bagitin Goktia. He told me if he had not the record of his vaccination, he would have been turned away at the security gate. I mean, this guy's with the message of my he's been a guy duty, Banen, again, Knodmas Negan, Shekiti Stowan, Ima, Daguti, Kiwe, Match up in Chiguan, and Gats Bucket Niguan, you Ishkunigan.
Thank you for sharing. So, Wally, you're of Christian faith. What advice would you give to others of similar faith?
Ik wat dus Nick, en dus ik weet hem, they were how they were thanking. En kegen is we them up and again occasion and I get in the month, you are basically guys they were them. Firstly, it is important to begin this dialogue, not only with people of evangelical or charismatic faith or persuasion, but churches in general, whether they be Anglican, Roman Catholic, Presbyterian, or Mennonite. Ik wil dus amazing akkoord, maar nistam is se misteen in dagen, daar schoot je maat ja de moedskatik. Nandage igen, bekat zien heel ik als de betem was. Nandage bakan heel gewoon nandage Anglican, Bachosian, Presbyterian, nandage Mennonite. Maat as tigadik an moedskatik. It is important to listen to each other to discuss in practical terms the basic facts. Misteen in dag when it's not tantiak. Mina kadanamo damak and the geisha to the makegon, tebo and chiabadak. I give examples of people who are vaccinated. They got the security the moon now at abscoot nisin again on beatige, abscoot again on kagiti stogonot, egomina egagiti stogo. I can attest that in many large number of indigenous pastors, preachers, evangelists have gotten vaccinated. Amida stable in a Kaginagok, Auskut Shinwaj, Igenok and Sinio Helgmank, Mina Ogagikimwork, Mina Obabamagagikimwork, Azakitistoganwork. If people, no matter who they are, whether they attend church, evangelical or non-evangelical, get COVID infection or from Delta variant, there will be serious health consequences. Ik wat de smine te kendamak. Die spin again ook pogando yet nandage epitigas nandage egando ega pitige on you watch. Die spin catch in the gods when COVID-19 in afternoon nandage uske an afternoon mestehi organimi gna op matsuno omini yaunwa. For evangelical people, it is important to understand and recognize that we are still in the period of grace. When we still have the Holy Spirit within us and with us. The Holy Spirit will not allow anyone to be deceived. I stand by the word of God. My father, who was a preacher for close to 50 years, would have gotten vaccinated because he believed medicines are a blessing from God. Kigagikimone, Kegatnianamitanatasiaka. Ego Kispin, Matsukapan and Ongwagin, Udagudachnaban, Unitistegan Musket, the Kish with the Moses, Yun Muskin Kamin, Mogon and Basic was a Winchiko and Cat Benchicas. Dr. Douglas, we will continue this dialogue, and I will be inviting certain other church leaders and preachers to share their faith, in particular to the taking of vaccines. Amit the station Nakamak Amamascuna Dr. Douglas, Kiabits, Chipmi, Animuchun, Way to Chikatik. Mina Kutagi, Pakan, Emhel, not Natamak, Minogaki Monog, Kevinoa, Chan Mutamos, De Westamuna, a more the Chistegan Musket. Dr. Douglas, I want to thank you for your time, and we will continue this discussion as we move along. Amazing Dr. Douglas Kawichi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wally. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I learned so much about you today and so much about this conversation. And I'm looking forward to meeting these church leaders and preachers and continuing that conversation with them. Yeah. Big witch.
I'm going to give my number and my email so people can call me or email me. If people want to contact me, my number is 204-894-4237. That is 204-894-4237. Or email me at mckay.wallace@gmail.com. That's McKay, MCKAY.Wallace, WALLACE @gmail.com. And with that, we will talk to you again. Thank you.